Because I'm like, anxiety is just the fear of the possibility of something happening.
It's just an excuse people make up.
Well, no. I was, because people do have anxiety so bad to where it
you bunch of sissies.
like
get over it.
Affects them.
Just talk to people.
But no, I was just playful.
In 5, 4, 3, 2. It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. What just happened? What just happened?
I told you it was not that. I'm on Google. This is how Google says to pronounce it.
Clitoris.
Okay,
there is no clitoris.
What just happened? We weren't talking
that.
about we just started.
Bro, I just sat
We just
down.
started. That's how you start the conversation. Okay, starting over, run it back. Welcome to another episode of Welcome to another episode of ShinoBroz podcast. I'm Sly.
I'm Wade.
I'm Wiz.
And we are ShinoBroz. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. It was fun to come out here and watch the fight.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, we're all a little disappointed.
still-
America took 2 L's.
It was a fun time. The Paul versus Tyson fight sucked. The other fights are pretty good.
The other fights were pretty good. It's
Yeah.
It's just the last one. It was disappointing.
Let's talk about it. Which fight are we talking about first?
We don't have to jump right into it. I was just saying it's.
We
just
jumping right-
disappointing.
We're jumping right into it. That's
Okay.
why we're here. So let's dial it back for at least expectations out there. So before we even got to, having our gathering, watching the fight, there's obviously a lot of hype over this being Netflix's first live ever sporting event. Did any of us realistically think that Tyson was really going to go out there at 58 years old, 58 or 56?
58.
58, I think
okay.
I said.
58 years old and actually win this? Or did we just really want him to win this?
I really wanted him to
Both.
win this. I was
Both.
expecting Iron Mike,
I really think that
We saw
he
Michael.
would have won had they not put the stipulation of 4 rounds don't count or whatever. Doesn't count until after 4 rounds.
Apparently, that's a very common rule nowadays. Because I was looking into that last night out of curiosity, and apparently it's usually just half the amount of rounds for it to become an official fight. And apparently that stipulation really only goes to technical knockouts, which is where you've sustained a severe enough injury, like we almost saw in the previous fight with the 2 ladies, where your favorite scene, where her eye got cut at the top. So for instance, if it was the second round and there was some kind of TKO, then that wouldn't count. But after the 4th fight, the 4th round, it becomes an official round, and a TKO would count as an end. I don't know if that made sense at all, but pre that official round, a TKO wouldn't have counted. It would have just been disregarded. After that, a TKO would count.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I got that.
and this is just my very limited understanding of that specific rule too, because it was confusing to me reading it also in the way that it made it sound of being official or not official. But what it sounded like, if it was a normal 10 count knockout, even in the first couple rounds, it would have still been official. But do not quote me on it, because I am also confused about that rule. I just want to make sure that we're at least covering the way it supposedly actually works.
Okay. Because I just thought the reasoning behind that, because I didn't deep dive into it or something like that.
I tried. Rough.
Yeah. Well, you actually looked it up.
I tried my best to look it up, but the sources that I had were also confusing.
What I was thinking is it's Netflix.
Yeah.
It's a streaming platform. Streaming platforms want your eyes on their platform for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they had round 1, round 2 knockouts, that the fight would be over and it would just be, you wouldn't spend as much time on the platform if the event didn't last. You know what I mean?
So it was all money grab.
Yeah,
Really?
That was my thinking of it.
which I would believe, but just in case I'm wrong, I don't think that's actually how that one particular rule works. Now, what I would say as far as fighting goes and whatnot, fighting is, yes, a young man's sport. Could Tyson have beaten Jake Paul? Yeah, probably, especially if there were looser points in the rules, or, if certain things happened better than others. I think that after the 4th round, maybe even into the 4th round, he started just standing there. Not
Yeah.
biting, maybe doing one defense, one
He
hit.
had good head movement though,
He had good head movement, but he never followed up with more than one shot. At
which is
anything,
a little sketchy.
It is.
Yeah.
But maybe they're right. Maybe his age was just showing, or maybe he just didn't care. Because he did start moving less and less after taking some shots.
I mean, the first 2 rounds, we were seeing him, like, out of the gate, he was swinging.
Out of the gate, he was swinging. Jake Paul did the right thing to tie him up and clinch.
When
hugging.
Jericho's like, he in the ring with a bear. Like, it looked like when Tyson was going after him, you could see the fear in Jake's
So,
eyes.
I mean, there's the one theory is that Tyson threw the fight.
I think for somebody... Well, actually, I'd say with both of them. So, I would say most of the internet probably hates Jake Paul. That's probably
Because
goes
he's,
without
well,
saying.
that's his brand. That's what he's known for, to be hated.
That's his brand. So
Yeah.
he's like the ultimate, to use wrestling terms, he's the ultimate heel out there.
Yeah.
And now you have somebody like Mike Tyson, who's probably one of the most well-known historic athletes still alive. Like, when you think boxing, you think Muhammad Ali, and the most everybody these days is going to know Mike Tyson. Maybe you have some other people that know, like Rocky Marciano, but pretty much everybody's going to know Mike Tyson. So you have a lot of people that love him and a lot of people that hate Jake Paul. So no matter what, whether it was legit or not, people are going to theorize that it wouldn't be legit because of how much they hate Jake Paul and how much they love Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be an unavoidable outcome no matter what. And even they were saying that before the fight started, whether it be from the officials or from the fighters.
Well, win or lose, everyone still loves Mike Tyson.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Everyone hates Jake Paul
Have you seen
more.
a full, like, interview
Oh,
with
yeah.
Mike? It's hilarious most of the time. The stuff that he says is just gold. Especially my favorite podcast that Mike Tyson's been on was when he was with Logan Paul, and
Really?
they brought out the pigeon. That's when I first knew Mike Tyson loves his pigeons. At the end of the day, I mean, they both won. They made their money.
Yeah.
Tyson should have made 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made 20 and
He made half of that, yeah. So Jake Paul got 40 million, Tyson got 20 million, which, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to flinch at that, let alone they were probably making money all the way leading up to it. Like, probably
Yeah.
every interview they did, they probably got paid for in some good way.
It
Let
depends
alone
on how it was divvied too. Like if Tyson was just like, yeah, whatever, then
Yeah.
that's fine. But if it was like, if he got like
no, I'm starting to think that
gypped out of it or something like that,
I'm
then
starting to
it's-
think maybe he did this for the sport. As in, like,
I'm starting to think Mike Tyson just likes boxing.
no, like maybe he did throw it, but him throwing it kind of gives Jake his career to keep going and more people to see boxing. Because Jake does get the eyes on the boxing.
He did get a lot of eyes
Yeah.
on boxing. Whether
So-
or not he's a skilled individual or not,
Yeah.
up to other people to say. But
The only way I'd say that it wasn't thrown is because I was asking you like what side his hernia was on, because
yeah,
he
I
was
wasn't
getting
sure.
he was getting body shots there, and I'm like, if his hernia, like if he got punched there and then it was like acting up or whatever, not herniated again, but like disrupted it or whatever, that might have been why he slowed down also.
Yeah. So let's recount the rounds a little bit though, because like we said, the first 2 rounds, they were 2-minute rounds, 8 rounds total. First 2, Tyson came out swinging. he didn't really seem to run out of breath very much. Like, his mouth wasn't open. He wasn't panting and sweating like crazy, at least that we could tell. He was pushing Jake down to the ropes, a little bit to the corner, and getting him to move pretty darn fast, which we would expect somebody like Jake Paul to do because he's younger, he's got more agility, and he's got a longer reach than Mike Tyson. So working from a range would be his advantage. But as Tyson pushed him in, he would come in for the clinch. The ref would move him back to the center of the ring. They'd split apart, and then they go from there. But tell me wrong, I think it was the third round, Tyson started taking a few shots, and then from then on, Tyson really didn't do very much other than just play defense and kind of run the clock, at least it looked like to me. He maybe tried to throw a counter punch here and there, but any punch that he threw would just be one punch counter, maybe it'd land, maybe he wouldn't, and then he would just sit there and play defense. Now, the only thing I can relate would be, I would say, A, it was rigged, and he just needed to run the clock at that point. B, we're looking at a 50-year-old man who just didn't care that much anymore, got tired, and wanted to run the clock. Or C, which would just be how I'd relate it to myself for the competitions, the fights I've done. He took some damage in that third round. He felt really uncomfortable, whether it be from pre-existing injuries, pre-existing experiences, or just hit him in that right spot. He didn't want to continue, or he was just waiting for that pain to subside. The one that, like Wade was mentioning a second ago, we weren't sure where his hernia was before, where he had to delay it from July, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If he got hit in that spot, and it was like somewhere in his guts, from getting kicked there before, once you get kicked there right, and you don't flex up right, and if you have any kind of previous injury, you don't want to carry on. You feel like you're going to either crap yourself or vomit right there, and that feeling doesn't go away for hours.
Yeah.
If he took a shot like that, I think he would just want to run the clock. Or at least, just from being an old guy who doesn't care anymore, yeah, run the clock. And that's basically what we saw. I will give Jake Paul credit in one regard, at least as the honor of a fighter. If it wasn't staged, seeing Tyson just stand there, do some defensive work, and basically run the clock, he didn't press Tyson super hard either. He still just played defensively, guarded himself, threw a couple punches, backed out. I think in the end, Jake Paul threw 197 punches, or maybe close to 200.
Something like that, yeah.
In a professional boxing bout, that's really low. So I would say he actually gave Mike Tyson an amount of respect in that if he was genuinely reacting badly to rounds 4 up, Jake Paul didn't take that advantage and just wail like crazy on him. He slowed it down, and then we got to see that in the last 15 seconds of the final round where he just bowed out, basically shook his hand, ran the clock, and said, "Good run." We left it at that. Tyson got out of that without any severe physical injuries that we saw. His eyes weren't puffed up. He didn't look like he was super sweaty. He didn't have any cuts or severe bruises on him or limping or anything like that, which is pretty rare.
They came for a show. They weren't there to fight. I don't think either of them were there to fight. Like I said, Jake was definitely holding back for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe Mike might have been holding back too. But I mean, who knows?
One thing I would definitely say, at least from an appearance, Jake Paul was scared. Jake Paul was definitely
especially
scared.
in the first 2 rounds, he was definitely rattled.
You could see it in his eyes. You could see it in his
that first hit that
movements.
connected from Mike. That first punch that connected that Mike threw. Yeah, you could see it in Jake. He's like, "Oh, I gotta square up."
Yeah. Now, I would hope that it was from an honor state of not wanting to hurt Mike too much there, but he may have just also been too afraid to get anything close to him, because I won't lie, if I got in range of one of Mike's hands, it probably would be over.
It's Mike Tyson. Right?
It's Mike Tyson.
So, yeah, that first punch, if I got hit by Mike, that first punch, I'm going to back up a little bit. I don't know what else you're capable of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but then after the rounds kept going, Jake definitely was like, okay, I can see, now it's either he's getting tired or... But then Jake, the momentum shifted, and Jake was like, okay, I can probably win this.
Yeah, I would say out of points it made sense. Yeah. Now, Jake did do very good in using his range, like I said, because if you got that reach advantage and you're just worried about scoring points, just throwing those quick jabs is going to get you there and then avoiding getting hit, and he did that.
I mean, the Paul brothers are known for playing the villain.
Oh, yeah.
Jake's really good at being a troll and just getting under his opponent's skin, but at the same time, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to play the game. At the end, he showed his respects. So, I mean, he could have still just milked it and like, yeah, I beat Mike Tyson, blah, blah, blah. But no, at the end, he was real respectful. So, love him or hate him, he knows how to play the game. So,
I also think he didn't beat Mike Tyson. I think we should rephrase it as he lasted 8 rounds
with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He won, but he didn't beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Mike could have kept going if he wanted.
I'm saying if he would have cornered Mike, it was like a life death situation. I think Mike would have start throwing haymakers.
Yeah. I don't know. What did you guys see while watching the fight? Was there anything that stood out to you differently, or do you think that was basically we all saw the same thing?
It was a disappointment for sure.
I don't trust the judges after that third match.
Yeah.
After
what was
the women's
Amanda.
Yeah, it was Katie Taylor and Amanda. I don't know Susano, something like that. Susano,
something like that.
Something like that.
I'll look it up.
She's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Irish lady and the Puerto Rican lady. Now that being said, that was probably the most exciting and brutal fight of the entire
best. That had everything you wanted in a fight.
Yeah,
blood, controversy. Everything.
That was everything we wanted for Jake and
Tyson. A lot of
Tyson.
clinching on Katie's side.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm not a ultra big boxing fan to where I know all the rules specifically, but from at least the old rules that I know, if you hold a clinch in boxing, that's allowed, but it does open up the potential for headbutting. We'll get to that. But when you come into a clinch, the ref will take you back to the center of the ring, separate you, and then the fight just continues. So you still gotta be ready. It should only be like a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the controversy that we got to see over there, and why I think it was a little bit fishy too for the Katie Taylor girl, was that she definitely threw a lot of headbutts. Now, whether they were like really, really aggressive ones, like you'd see in a movie or something where somebody's swinging back and nailing them, no, it wasn't that. But it was as she was coming in, she was ducking down and then pressing her head up.
Yeah,
one of them was definitely strong enough to cause that cut that we saw on Amanda's head. It was Amanda, right?
Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano, thank you. Amanda Serrano's eye. Then after that, what we mostly saw was just a gentle grab and then like pulling on that cut over and over again with her head.
Yeah. It went from this to this.
Yeah.
And that's what, you're not supposed to see that part.
Yeah. Now, that's pretty common injury, especially in boxing and UFC combat sports in general. Like, seeing cuts along the eye, very, very common. A good example of that would be the BMF title fight between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, if you guys have ever seen that from the UFC. It was kind of an exhibition fight, and the BMF title was literally bad mother.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then the
No, go ahead and say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. The Rock actually was the one who brought that title out, but the reason I'm pulling that one up is that one actually had to be called in a matter of TKO because Nate Diaz, his face got all opened up by Conor McGregor, so he was bleeding from his eye, his forehead, his cheek, all over the place to the point they're like, hey, that's too much blood. Now somebody like Nate Diaz is just kind of known for being a BMF. He didn't care. He wanted to keep going. He said it was BS that they called it, but this dude was bleeding like crazy. If you pull up that video, woo! So, my point, those kinds of injuries aren't uncommon. Now, what I didn't like was how Katie Taylor managed it, and that she was throwing a clinch probably every 10 to 15 seconds. Amanda was throwing 3 punches total, and then it would be defended with a clinch. She would come in, press her head against that cut.
Yeah, I was like, get off.
Yeah.
Get off of her.
Not very sportsmanlike. Now, where I think it was interesting, and I don't see how it made sense with the stats they threw up at the end, where it looked like Amanda had thrown more proper strikes, landed more strikes.
Amanda was better across the board.
Amanda was better at everything they showed across the board. But if the judges were scoring it by control, then Katie Taylor did hold control the longest. But that's where I don't know as far as the rules with boxing versus MMA. Because I would say Katie Taylor definitely managed that fight as far as basically like she was playing the glitches in the game.
Yeah.
She knew the
Oh,
knew
yeah.
the
She
rules.
knew the rules. She played it technical.
She knew the glitches and the back doors, and she was playing like a sweat.
Yeah.
And she had Jesus on her side.
Yeah, she came out to worship music.
Look, the way she was fighting, Jesus left her corner. All right. Amanda needed Jesus after that cut. All right.
Yeah.
I'm praying she didn't bleed out.
It was funny too because it was right after, or yeah, it was after you had sent the group chat the Baki clip of
Rip her face off.
yeah, and I was like, no, it's gonna happen.
But that was easily the best fight of the night.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the main event was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
They kind of just danced around the ring after a while.
Did Mario Barrios win?
It was a tie. It was a draw.
Oh,
right?
that's right.
That
That
was BS.
that
That
was-
one was
yeah.
definitely BS.
What happened?
Just in total. So we had
I mean, they both put up a good fight.
they put up a good fight. Mario only got rocked once, so he definitely lost that round. But I think as far as they fought 10 rounds, wasn't it?
it was.
Was it 10
Was
or
10?
was it 8 for them? Or was it 6?
I'm pretty sure it was 12.
Was it?
12.
10 or
Yeah,
12.
The women was 10.
10.
And
yeah.
then the guys before that were 8.
8. Yeah.
Well, so for the entirety of it, Mario was definitely holding a strong lead, especially in the first 3 to 4 rounds. He was just wailing away on him. I can't remember the other guy's name already. I'm forgetting. It was Mario and
Ramos. But I don't
Ramos.
remember
Yes,
his first name.
something Ramos. Ramos was getting rocked. He got knocked.
Ramos got rocked twice.
He got rocked twice. I think it should have been counted as a knockdown off that first one because I'm pretty sure his glove touched, at least from the
Yeah.
view that I had. That should have accounted for significant points for the first 3 rounds, and I think that Mario held his own pretty well beyond that, minus 1 round where he got rocked, but he still got up, carried on, and then finished off, went the distance. I think that should have been the win there, and I think the general audience reaction with how many boos we heard was also a reaction.
Yeah.
Overall event though, Netflix first live sporting event or just live events like that in general, what do you guys think?
The main fight was Netflix and The Connection.
Yeah.
It kept getting blurry. We got frozen screens a couple of times. Only during the main event.
That's
Overall,
probably when most people were tuning in.
yeah, everyone was tuning in.
For their first event, I'd give them 6.5, 7 out of 10. Because
They
it
had
was
so many mic issues.
good for the, well, yeah, there was mic issue. There was a mic issue, and then there was also a in-ear issue.
piece, yeah.
But that's manageable. Still not good, but it's manageable. And then, but the buffering problem, all I kept thinking is, it's bad, but when you went back and then redid it, it would still come back, and it dropped quality a lot. Still better than Twitter. Still better than Twitter. It didn't crash.
Wait, what happened with Twitter?
They had a big live interview.
I think it might have been when he was interviewing.
Wasn't it
It was
Tucker Carlson and Trump and Elon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it really crashed whenever it was Tucker Carlson, and then it also crashed, but I think it was a little better, or it might have been worse with Trump
Yeah.
or something like that.
You know what really does good live shows is the UFC. I don't know what kind of hardware or software they're using, but they hold on very, very strong. But hopefully
OBS.
Netflix, maybe. Hopefully Netflix learns from this, and whoever's on their DevOps side corrects whatever needs to be corrected on their servers. Now,
I think they could. I think they could, especially for that being their first one. They could smooth out all the kinks.
yeah. I think it wasn't like it was bad, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think it was 6.5 out of 10 is a fair rating.
Everything was
7 out of 10.
pretty manageable.
They Netflix also has WWE on there now, don't they?
I think they're adding it.
I
think it's coming.
I don't know what.
So that's where all the SmackDowns will be.
Maybe? I don't know. We need Samson for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samson knows all
This
that.
man. I was gonna say because the next thing they could potentially do for a live event is they could have WrestleMania on Netflix because that's usually a live event, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't follow it as much, but
Well, we watched it because The Rock came back. We watched that whole arc.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't watch this stuff. I'm not a big sports
Sports ball.
guy. Yeah.
High school football.
I'll play sports, but I cannot watch it. It does not excite me unless it's a big event like the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if the fight was kind of the main event fight was disappointing for me. It was still like the
Other stuff leading up to
the
it.
event
Yeah.
of it, or like the what do you call it? Like all of us getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
The community.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say that was definitely a big point in this one too, because normally I wouldn't care about a Jake Paul fight either. I want to see Tyson, but
Yeah.
had Sly not invited us over to, thank you for that, by the way, and gotten all the boys together and, made an event out of the event, I wouldn't have cared. I would have just watched highlights the next day.
Yeah.
I would have just done
Yeah,
other
me
stuff.
too.
But I would say that's part of the enjoyment of bigger sporting events, especially if you care about them just a little bit. Like I've been to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch a UFC fight before, and the community around that makes it a lot more exciting when something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it by yourself, like 4 hours of football or something, if you're a fan of it, more power to you. I don't want to do it either. I'd rather do something else for 4
I don't
hours.
even like football, but
High school football.
you know what we're gonna do? So when the Super Bowl comes around,
Super Bowl party.
we're all getting together for it. However, it's not because of the football. It's because of the halftime show. No one cares about
Yeah.
football in our group, I don't think.
I mean,
Not really.
I appreciate it. I know it enough. I think Jericho does a good bit.
Yeah,
Enough.
Jericho watches.
I
Or
think
at
Jericho
least
is
likes
more
it.
of like a passive fan. Like he keeps track of the players and stuff like that enough, but he's not like following it weekly and doing like DraftKings or anything like that, or
Yeah.
doing a fantasy football league that I'm aware of.
Big money grab.
I was gonna say it also helps being around people who are like involved in, or like who are really big fans of it too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like you knew about fighting and stuff like that, but like you said, you wouldn't have really cared about the fight.
Yeah.
But WrestleMania,
It's fun with Samson.
yeah.
It's fun with Samson.
Now, because I've seen two, I think. One might have been a SmackDown or something like
I've
that,
seen
but
a
there
couple.
was one that I watched in North Carolina,
Yeah.
and then the one that I did here, the one that I hosted here. Were you here for that?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were. Jericho wasn't.
Yeah, Jericho didn't.
Jericho didn't make it for that one, but we did. Yeah, because the one with The Rock was here, and
Yeah.
it was just because I don't watch. My dad used to watch wrestling back in the day, and I would see it while he was watching it and stuff like that, but I'm not real into it. But I hosted in this room, and
Yeah, wasn't one of my Rocket League streams to warm up?
Yeah.
yeah, we were watching you on stream, and then like I'm watching it, and I can get into stuff if I know if there's someone who I want to root for and stuff like that, then I can like get into it, but I really don't care. But seeing like Samson and Rikus was here, and they
Yeah.
were going nuts, like absolute nuts, and then the whole like Rock showing up, and then spoiler alert, Undertaker shows up, and it's like what? Oh
It
my
was like
God.
watching Marvel cameos, but in
Yeah.
live, like a live event, and it was just so many cameos. I'm like, ah,
John Cena.
yeah.
I didn't even see him.
Nice.
It was a good event.
Yeah.
Now,
It was yeah.
who do we want to see fight in the future?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say too. When we were talking about if Tyson threw the fight or not, I think we'll know because he said it wasn't gonna be his last fight. I think we'll know if he fights someone else and wins. If he fights someone else and like, looks like how he did, then it's like okay, well then he was pulling punches at
Only time will
versus Jake.
tell.
So the other fight that he did have it was against Roy Jones Jr. There we go.
Yeah, that was what
Okay.
you were saying during the pandemic or something like that.
Yeah,
wasn't
so
it? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it happened during or like as it was starting to come to a close because everybody's wearing masks except for the fighters. They had to go through an extensive like health screening and all of that, and then it was an empty audience. That fight, though interesting, was relatively boring in my opinion. Sorry for any fans out there, just what I think, because it looked like two old people fighting. It had some strength behind them, but it was still two old people fighting, and I was afraid that's what it was going to be like with the Jake Paul versus Tyson fight. Now, It kind of was.
Yeah.
I think he actually looked better in that fight than he did with Roy Joe.
Then,
Yeah.
then we have our answer.
RJ,
See, it's a struggle.
RJJ,
Yeah. Now,
RJJ.
I will say this as far as Tyson coming back for another fight. I don't know who he would fight right now that would be of interest to anybody. Because Roy Jones Jr., I'm going to have to keep saying
RJJ.
this. Yeah. That was interesting because you had two legends coming back to fight. Jake Paul was interesting because everybody hates him and everybody knows him social media influencer wise, whether it be the younger generation, the newer generation, whatever. Older. Everybody knows him. Everybody wanted to just see this guy get knocked out.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is out there that would be interesting to watch him box. I know that they threw Logan Paul out there as a question. We don't want to see that. Let's be honest.
No,
nobody wants to see that.
I'll say it.
You want to see it?
No. Mike Tyson versus Chuck Norris.
Oh shit.
Chuck Norris shouldn't do that. Chuck Norris is 90 something.
Is he?
Plus Chuck Norris is like
almost 100 years old.
Chuck
he's
Norris
not.
is
Hey Siri, how old is Chuck Norris?
boobs.
Chuck Norris is 84 years old.
And here's a picture of boobs.
Yeah, maybe not Chuck Norris. Never mind.
How old?
84.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So okay, not 90
Oh. Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson. Floyd would win.
Floyd would win.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know what Floyd's not heavyweight, is he?
No.
No. Interesting, I suppose. I mean, he still was able to whoop Connor's tail, and he was able to pretend that he was fighting Logan Paul. Yes, that one I will definitely say was scripted. He wasn't fighting.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know who we'd want to see, almost 60-year-old Mike Tyson come back to fight. Sylvester Stallone?
Hey.
How old is Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, he's old.
Wait, hey
Boobs.
Siri. How old is
Boobs.
Sylvester Stallone?
Sylvester Stallone is 78 years old.
Sheesh.
Here's a picture of boobs.
All these old heads, man. It's kind of sad growing
I
up
thought it
and
was
seeing all your old famous people, celebrities.
all the action heroes.
As we get older, they get older. It's kind of sad.
all the action heroes come
And
in
they start
with
dropping
walkers.
off like flies.
Now, to be fair, they were popular in like the 70s and 80s. Like the first Rocky movie was 1976.
Yeah, but still, people in our people that we watched growing up, and now they're just dying. It's kind of like, oh,
They're not dying. They're just getting older.
Do you guys think that we have any?
I mean, they are dying, but
Well,
also
no,
but the people we said are still alive.
like I watched a lot of Full House when Bob Saget, the guy who played Danny Tanner, died. I was
Yeah.
like, what? I know he was old, but he died from like a head injury or something.
Yeah. I don't know if we have any similar legends like that though. Like actors or athletes that have really become household names from our generation. Like pretty much everybody would know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is at this point. You just mentioned that name, everybody immediately knows who that is. Sylvester Stallone, probably along the same lines, if not a little bit less. Mike Tyson, for sure. Muhammad Ali, all those people. But at least
Chris was like,
I think that's the problem.
Jake Paul's gonna dig up Muhammad Ali's body and fight a dead body on, for his next guy,
I just don't know.
next opponent.
I don't know who we could say from our generation that has that kind of famous staying power. Like I feel like most
here's the
of
thing,
our
and you want to know
celebrities that
why?
we've forgotten.
And you want to know why? Because everyone from our generation is famous now, quote unquote famous. If they have a following, they're quote unquote famous.
Yeah,
Like,
And now it's an oversaturated market.
Our generation is from the generation of the internet, so
Yeah.
everything is like, there are a lot of people like that. Because I was gonna say, whenever you said famous people from our generation, my mind automatically went to it kind of searched for like TV shows and stuff like that, but my mind automatically went to YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like it's gonna be YouTubers, maybe singers, and I'd say if anything lasted, it would be like the celebrities that we had when we were kids, like Steve from Blue's Clues, or rest in peace, Jace David Frank. Like people that everybody would recognize from their childhood. But beyond that, like as we were maybe young teenagers, I don't know of anybody that's gonna last for decades, like Muhammad Ali and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mike
What's
Tyson.
the biggest celebrity you know? That's
Probably Dwayne Johnson.
yeah. So Dwayne Johnson, he knows he's a celebrity.
Yeah.
So if you ask him, "Hey, are you a celebrity?" Yeah. Are you famous? Yeah. YouTubers,
are you talking
if you
about
ask,
from our generation, like our age, or are you talking about like that we grew up with? Because
just
I don't,
you,
because
Everyone knows
Johnson-
this person.
Dwayne Johnson's not technically from our generation,
But
but he's been in movies
Yeah.
that we've watched. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say, at least in his case, we saw him kind of rise in popularity and now begin to drop in popularity in our lifetime, because he was really coming onto the scene like in the late 90s, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But with
terrible
wrestling.
movies.
Movies was
he
like
went, he went from wrestling
2000s.
Attitude Era to doing like Scorpion King, and then just
Yeah.
shot up from there. I think we were alive, like that was within our
that was our
lifetime
timeline,
to see
yeah.
things. So I'd
Yeah.
say I would call that within our
Brendan
generation.
Fraser.
I would say, yeah. So he's like the biggest.
They're not from
If
our
not-
generation, but they're
Yeah.
from media from
Yeah.
our generation.
Now, if you go ask a YouTuber, you know what they usually say depends on who you ask.
Mhm.
So
What you mean if they're celebrity?
if they're famous, if they're celebrity, or do they think
Yeah.
they're famous or celebrity? It depends on who you ask.
I'd
which is-
say,
yeah.
oh yeah, it depends on who you ask. Because I was like, a lot of the people that I watch are kind of humble.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty
Yeah.
humble,
Yeah,
except for Markiplier. Like Markiplier knows he's big. He's still
he's just
humble.
a chill guy though. Like
Yeah.
he seems like a very genuine.
He's
person.
humble, but he knows that he's got pull.
Mhm.
And because like whenever he was talking about his because he made a movie and he's trying to get it distributed or whatever, but he also acted in a project that someone else did for Amazon called Edge of Sleep, and he was like, the executives at I don't know if it was Amazon or Edge of Sleep were like, if you get in the top 10 for 30 days, then we'll talk more about like distributing your movie and stuff like that. And he's like,
He pulled it off.
we can do it. Yeah.
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 He's like, I know you guys. I like he knows his pool, but he doesn't like abuse it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like very, very few people from like the YouTube space are gonna have that kind of staying power. Like maybe somebody like PewDiePie will be recognized for a long time, but I don't think they're going to be like inducted into the history books or like
Yeah.
have any
No.
wax sculptures or appearances in the American Cultural Museum or something. I feel like actually I'm pretty sure Muhammad Ali's boxing gloves are in the American Cultural Museum. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they're like immortalized somewhere.
Well, I mean that goes back to like where we get our media from. We don't have like a singular source of media anymore. Like
Yeah.
because back then it was like
TV.
the internet.
Cable TV.
Yeah, you had TV, you had magazines, you had like well, we still have CDs and stuff like that, but
Newspapers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and I feel like the
So,
the
like-
social aspect around it too is different because like nowadays more people are going to come together in their own ways and watch something streaming like Netflix, like the Tyson versus Paul
Yeah.
fight, versus back in the day, big events going on, like it would probably be, hey Wade, hey Sly, let's go down to the local bar and watch the Muhammad Ali fight, and then you're going to meet a whole bunch of other people there doing the same thing and talking about it, sharing opinions. But now it's kind of more consolidated, and then we talk about it afterward like we're doing right now on a podcast that other people can watch, comment on. Please leave comments, like, subscribe, and talking about it on X, Twitter, or Threads, Instagram, Reddit, wherever it may be. But the kind of separated social spaces, they're not shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no more community.
Yeah, and
There's a social community, but
it's a different kind of social.
social
that-
media.
It's not that face to face.
Yeah.
It's different. You're not, picking up the vibes from your people, in the same way. And I feel like that also adds to the staying power that some of these celebrities have because of that. Like people coming together and having those experiences and feeling each other's energies, like we were saying you did when you're sitting around with Samson and other people watching WrestleMania, that you then come together to watch somebody like Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson. Nobody's going to come together and watch, whoever's new YouTube video, even if it's somebody like Markiplier.
I mean I'm gonna go see Markiplier's movie.
I mean, I would too,
But-
but
Yeah,
not
I-
the same,
yeah.
not a social aspect of around the entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be like, well, maybe because they're older. I was gonna say it's not gonna be like we're gonna have a watch party for Smosh or something like that.
no, probably not. I feel like a lot of those will maybe have like some nice reminiscent of being like, oh yeah, I remember when I was watching them when I was a child. But I don't think
Yeah.
they're not going to be inducted into any history books. I don't think.
No,
Yeah,
they're not gonna win like Grammys yet or something like it, unless they break. I don't know.
I think Smosh is going to win a Grammy.
It's
No.
it has to do with like because traditional media, even though it's not as big, it's still like the main source for like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you count the streamies, because that's made for
That's true.
internet
Content creators.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like us. Like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a transitional thing too, because I think what made those people interesting also is that they were also insightful into controversies, like, you know, like Muhammad Ali was. He had some interesting insight and got into politics a little bit in that way, but it was less common versus more now, even though I feel like we're moving away from it. I'd say it was pretty common that these big stars would arise and then jump onto some kind of controversy, whether it be politics or otherwise, and then almost destroy themselves through it. Less.
Well, it's because everyone has an opinion online now.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has an opinion, and then everyone else has their own opinion about that. It's not going into what?
We're not going the ways of politics.
Yeah.
We're just saying.
I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I get that we have freedom of speech, but you know, some people shouldn't use it.
yeah. A lot of people think that freedom of speech extends to a lot more things than it does too.
I mean, you're free to say everything. It
Like,
has
it's like-
consequences, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
legal consequences, no. That's fine, but you know, you can have moral consequences. Feel some shame in what you say, man.
like people
Treat other
spew
people as you want to be treated. Simple enough.
people will spew hate speech, and then they'll be like, freedom of speach, I'm allowed to say whatever I want to. And
Yeah,
it's
you are
no.
allowed, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in the
Social space too.
in the First Amendment, it actually excludes, like, you know,
I'd have to double check before
What
I
up,
say anything
someone?
wrong.
yeah,
I'm not going that route. But
the freedom of speech, like, there are still limitations to freedom of speech, like hate speech and stuff like that. But everyone thinks freedom of speech thinks that it's like freedom.
I can say
to
whatever I
anything.
I
want.
think when I looked it up, hate speech specifically, it like is actually still covered, but I think it depends on like whether you're inciting something or like where you do it. I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do more research before I dive into that rabbit hole. But my point is just like the big staying celebrities like Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, they would have their controversies. Like Mike Tyson had serious controversies where he wound up in prison and whatnot, or mistreated people. But then he learned from it, he came from it, and we watched the kind of that growth. I feel like we may have a lot of that going on with the celebrities where maybe we're not going to watch their growth, or that controversy is such a big part of their personality that we never really get to see that growth, or it doesn't seem genuine. For example, Jake Paul. We know his whole thing is acting like an asshole.
Yeah.
Do we really think that's 100% genuine, or do you think he's doing it for clicks?
Definitely do it for clicks.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So any kind of insight that he may have or any kind of controversial opinion, it would be a throwaway opinion because we'd be like, oh, it's controversial. That doesn't mean anything. You're probably not actually standing behind your words.
Yeah. Everyone's a personality now. That's all it is.
Like us, the best ones.
Yeah.
Third time shouting us out.
They're I forget what the term is for it, but all media is curated to specific people now.
Yeah.
Instead of to the masses.
Well, that probably goes back to what you were saying about like there's a space for everything, you know.
Yeah,
or
it's a market for everything.
There's a market for everything. There's a space for everything. You know, you got your Redditors, you got your tweeters, or whatever you call them, YouTubers.
You got your feet lovers.
You got your podcasters, your Twitch
Show feet.
streamers, your every other celebrity in between.
There's a market for everything.
There's an entertainment market for everything too. I mean, back in the day, like you talked about those old action stars getting old, like Sylvester Stallone and stuff like that. An old one would be a good example would be like the Jean-Claude Van Damme, whose big famous movie was Bloodsport, which was all of these great martial artists from the different disciplines coming together and fighting each other in some fantasy style looking, almost like looked like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that's just the UFC. That's somebody coming from Muay Thai background, a karate background, whether it be like John Jones or Lyoto Machida, something like that. Georges St. Pierre. Differences like that. Conor McGregor. All these different people come together. But back in the day, even just like 40 years ago, that was a fantasy. Actually, I think it would be older than that now because I think they had UFC in the 90s. Regardless, maybe it, I don't know. But still, that used to be the fantasy, whereas now it's the reality. So there's also a market just for that. Like people aren't going to go make a movie Bloodsport anymore. They're going to just go watch UFC.
Yeah. Times have changed. We're getting old.
We are indeed. It'll
Future. Future.
What time are we at? Do I got time to bring up another topic? Yes, I do.
please do, because
gosh,
I've been
here we go.
monologuing a lot. Let's go.
No, I was gonna. This one's directed towards Sylvester.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
Mostly because I misread a text that you sent before.
Yeah, I think. Is it about the
I'll
pizza?
start at the about the pizza.
Okay.
Because I misread it. I will say, like, I kind of went harder on you just because I misread the text. He had texted me. He's like, can you pick up the pizza because...
Oh, for the event
Um,
yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up, like, the
For the
exact
Tyson
one.
Paul fight.
Yeah, but he was like, can you pick
I-
up the pizza... Oh, damn, it's gone already.
I asked him to pick up pizza.
You said pick up the pizza if I order it and pay for it, but I read it as, will you pick up the pizza if I order it, comma, and pay for it, like me pay for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can pay for it over the phone. I was like, yeah, I can, but you can order it over the phone and pay over the phone. And then you said about no, like you don't want to deal with people or something like that. And I was just like, ugh, like facepalm emoji. And I'm like, your generation or whatever. And then that got into like, you know, why do more work when less work works just fine?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I was like,
And
I'll
yeah.
just pay online. I was gonna
Yeah.
order online. I'll pay it online.
That's where I got misconstrued because I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like order it online and pay, and then I'll pick it up. But it kind of makes me wonder because I heard people. I work in a hardware store, and people come in and talk about the newer generation and how things are changing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, it's not as dire as everyone makes it seem. I don't think. But this guy was like, you know how you have like the different generations and stuff like that, and then he was like, well, this, like, you got the Gen Z, and then the next generation's gonna be the silent generation because no one's gonna talk to each other because they're all gonna be on their devices and everything. And I'm like, first of all, there's already a Gen Alpha, like, so you're wrong there. The next generation is already named. And second of all, it's like, people still will talk to each other. You have to talk to each other and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
It's
But I
life.
will say that it is kind of like getting to where people don't want to talk to each other. Like
Yeah.
you were like, I just want to keep my peace and stuff like that. And I'm like, I get that. But also, you have to interact with people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're interacting, but
Yeah.
that's because we've been friends for years. Myself, because I heard that and I've been hearing that for a while, and I used to be outgoing, like real outgoing, extroverted and stuff like that. I don't necessarily believe in the whole extroverted introverted thing. I think we're all just a mixture. Anyway, that's a topic for another time. But anyway, I like, especially after the pandemic where everyone was kind of shut in for a couple years, I can tell that I'm different. Like, I have different anxieties that I never used to have around
wow.
stuff.
I feel the same.
And I'm like, I'm also the type of person where I don't have like a medically diagnosed, anxiety or something like that, but I do have anxieties, and I'm like, the only way for me to get over an anxiety is to do the thing that gives me anxiety.
So,
'Cause
fear exposure.
Yeah,
Pushing yourself outside your comfort
Yeah.
zone.
yeah,
Exposure
basically.
therapy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, anxiety is just the fear of the possibility of something happening.
It's just an excuse people make up.
Well, no, I was, because people do have anxiety so bad to where it,
You bunch of sissies.
like
Get over
physically
it.
affects them.
Just talk to people.
But no, I was just playfully giving you a hard time about it. But
Yeah.
I do think, because I know a lot of my friends have anxieties and stuff like that, and it's hard to talk to them about that stuff because it kind of comes off as like asshole-ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I might be able to put a thought into that because I came from homeschooling, and there definitely was some social anxiety when I finally got more out and about and like got my first job and stuff like that. I would say that I got out of it pretty fast. I'd like to think myself as more extrovert than a lot of people now, but a lot of times I'd say my normal state would be by myself, just kind of zoned back in, which would be more considered an introvert, which would agree to what you were saying. For me, though, I'd say at least, now I can't speak for everybody, but for me, what came with social anxiety back then was the judgment that would come from around it, or what I would think that judgment would be, and what I used to try to do to counteract that, which is probably true for a lot of people around those, younger teenage age, was trying to act more like what I perceived from everybody else. So eventually, you kind of come into your own, and for me, it was a realization of, wow, actually all these other people are screwed up in their own ways, and I'm doing okay, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And once I kind of got an understanding of that, it would actually attract more people to me. And now I scare everybody away.
No, I do think that you might intimidate some people, but I feel like if you're just like, because
RBF is a real thing.
I was gonna say, if you just stand there, some people might be like, oh, that guy looks like, don't want to mess with him and stuff like that.
Skull shirt and tight sleeves. What do you mean?
Yeah. But when you talk to people, like, I feel like they get the idea that you're not just like, I don't know, stone cold,
Steve
whatever.
Austin.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just thought I would bring that up. Sorry to put you on the spot, but
Listen,
that was my boomer moment.
I'm also just lazy, okay? Okay, it's less room for error if I just order it online too. Sometimes the person doesn't hear clearly, so I'll just order online. That way they can just read it, and it'll be done with. And also the specials are online, so I was just like, I'll just make it easy for myself and order online. I have no problem talking to people.
I will say, as someone who works in retail also, it is a little annoying whenever people order like little things and then they come and curbside pick it up.
Yeah.
Especially now that the pandemic's over, it's like just walk inside. Just walk 5 feet inside. We'll help you.
I do think there is a greater amount of social anxiety now after the pandemic. I mean, I think it might be a combined result of the more social media world that we live in now, but
fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown, or even just maybe it is people's judgment or breaking out of your comfort zone, like you were saying.
Yeah.
The biggest one that I always notice is getting into an elevator with anybody. Used to be back in the day. We all know that's generally an awkward position.
Yeah.
There's comedians who've made plenty of jokes about that. You're stuck in an elevator with somebody, it's awkward. You talk about the weather or something like that. Nowadays, everybody's going to jump on their phone. And I see it all the time.
You have a distraction now.
You have a distraction, but here's the thing. You don't have a signal in the elevator. You're not looking at anything.
Oh, yeah.
You're literally just flipping your phone like out of habit, so you don't have to engage with the other random person in there.
Yeah, you just like open up
just
photos and then
something.
just go through your
like,
photos.
There's
No.
literally doing nothing on your phone that you actually need to do. You could say, hey, it's kind of chilly out there, isn't it? That wind chill, it's getting
Or
to
you don't have to talk at all. Just look forward.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to talk. That's another anxiety of feeling like
Why is it
you
so
have to
quiet?
do something. Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of that. I feel like I can't just sit there and do nothing.
So,
I mean,
what-
it's like a normal thing.
So
like-
what Wiz is trying to say is, next time you step in an elevator, look at everyone.
Directly make eye contact.
Yes. Don't walk in the elevator and turn your back. No. Be a menace. Look at everyone. And just give them the old stare.
I will say I felt it was the day before the fight, so it would have been Thursday. Thursday I went shopping around places, looking for stuff to make the brownies and stuff. But I went to Five Below, and there was one of the workers there, and then there was a cute girl, which I don't know, on the podcast. I should have talked to more because she was like really like into what I was talking about and stuff like that. And then it's just like, yeah, have a good one, stuff like that. It was a good interaction. It didn't need to go any further. Could have, probably, but didn't need to.
And then you get that hindsight.
Yeah. It's like, man, she was cute. Missed opportunity. Missed connection. But no, it was like because I was looking.
If you're watching the pod, hit him up.
Yeah. I asked the worker there if they had any like boxing gloves or boxing cake toppers or anything like that. And then they were like, no, I don't think so. And then we got talking about the fight and stuff. And the employee was like a younger person.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know what gender they were. They looked feminine, but also male presenting. So I don't know if they were.
I'll let you carry on.
They, them. They, I don't know if they were still in high school or not, but, because they were talking about being on the football team.
Mhm.
They were on the football team, and they said that their game got pushed back, or postponed. Their game got postponed, which they were happy about, because then that means that they were able to watch the fight.
Mhm.
And then we were talking about the fight and everything, and then the cute girl who was just minding her own business or whatever actually chimed in, heard us talking and stuff like that, and she was like, oh yeah, try Big Lots, you know, stuff like that. And then we started you know, talking to, like, it was one thing that kind of got us all talking to each other and stuff like that, and it felt like old times.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, you know, people just talking to people. It wasn't awkward, it wasn't weird, you know, it was just all that and stuff. And then me and the girl walked out and we're still talking to each other, kind of, and then she went to her car and I went to Dollar General right down the plaza or whatever, and it was like, that was a good interaction. Like,
yeah.
I
Need that in
felt
society.
good. Yeah.
Unity.
I don't know if I'm trying to think of when's the last time I have a interaction with. Actually, so yesterday.
Yeah.
No, this morning.
You also have to initiate, I feel like.
This
like, you have to
morning.
be the initiator. Yeah.
This morning, I went to get my new tires on my car. Wiz was with me. I'm just showing around Walmart and it's like, hey man, let's go to the mall. He knows where I'm going with this. So the mall isn't open until 10 a.m.
Oh, really? I thought it was earlier.
It was 9:30 when we went to the mall. So we went to the one entrance, the entrance connecting with Walmart.
Yeah.
So we walked in. The lady was cleaning the windows, right? But she opened it for us, and so I walked in. But it was like a main entrance for if you're. The entrance was only open if you were getting your hair cut at that one hair salon.
Oh, yeah.
Or the
So-
liquor store. Liquor store is open 9:30 a.m. Surprisingly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so me and Wiz walked in, and we were I was just showing Wiz the mall because he hasn't been to our mall.
Yeah.
So
It's barely.
yeah,
It's dead at this point.
But yeah, we had some time to kill. I was waiting for my car to get finished, and a security lady walks up to us. And I saw her coming too. I'm like, she's probably gonna stop us because we're not supposed to be walking around the mall right now because it's closed technically. So she stops us and she goes, "Hey, do you guys work here?" And I wanted to lie. I was going to lie.
Don't.
Technically, I could have just walked in the GameStop and be like, "Hey, I'm here for my shift." And but
Yeah,
no.
there's no
I mean, I
need
used to
to.
work at a GameStop, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't lie. I was like, "No, we don't work here." And she's like, "You guys can't be in here right now. Mall's not open yet." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Instead of going back the other way, I want to show Wiz the rest of the mall. So I was like, "Actually, I parked my car at the theater, so we have to walk all the way to the other end." She's like, "I'll walk you guys there." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So she walks us all the way down, and I'm just showing Wiz. I'm showing Wiz all the stores.
These are the store. And then you
Yeah.
walked out the door because you had to walk, and then you had to walk all the way around.
Yeah. No, it all worked out because as soon as we got to the end, she apologized, like, "Sorry guys." I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just, I'm gonna go to my car." See, I was hoping she stopped us before the theater where the gate is
Yeah.
because I was hoping she wasn't gonna walk us all the way out and make us like watch us get in her car because I was gonna commit. I was gonna pick a car and just get up next to it.
Yeah.
But no, she
And
stopped
then
us.
just wave until
Yeah.
she goes in.
She stopped at before the theater, but we walked out and then I got a text from Walmart. It's like, "Hey, your car's ready." I'm like, "Bet."
Yeah.
So
it all
yeah.
worked out.
Yeah. So I did a little lie, but
Yeah.
so
I
that
was
was
thinking,
my interaction.
I was like, you don't have to lie, but I forgot you wanted to show him the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, so
I
you
learned
kind of
that
did
Hooters
have
has
to.
a fashion line apparently.
At what?
Hooters apparently has a fashion line. I learned because we passed by. I think it was like a Hot Topic or something, and they had a like
Oh,
a Hooters
yeah.
leather jacket. I was like, that's a
Yeah.
thing.
Spencer's.
Oh, Spencer's. Okay.
Yeah.
The other hot topic.
We're not. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We have like the only stores worth going to. Did you see the pickleball court? There was no one
No,
playing.
I don't think it did. No.
It was
No,
where
we go that we because that's after the mall or the theater entrance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
You
I
didn't
go
go to like TJ Maxx or Ulta or
No,
something.
no.
Okay.
not like
Next
important
time. Next
empty
time.
JC Penney's. It's fine.
Yeah, JCPenney isn't even there anymore. It's just a shell. There's nothing in there.
Wiz was like, "Wow, your Walmart's really stocked." I'm like, "Wiz, this is all we have.
Yeah.
All we have is Walmart.
Yeah, no, it's blowing
We're
my
not in
mind.
Richmond."
There is
It
a
was-
cool.
It was blowing my mind. There's because every Walmart that I've been into, everything's like locked up or behind panels. Like I'll give you an example. I had to just change my my car's headlight the other day, so I stopped over at the Walmart after being at the dojo, and like everything was locked behind a panel. You had to go get the lady to unlock it for you.
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
out there. And I go over to y'all's, and everything's just like right there. I was like,
Well, the pegs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we still have a big. I'm sure there's still shoplifting going on, but there's cameras. I mean, Walmart.
Walmart doesn't
Walmart's.
care.
cameras.
Yeah.
Like this was back in my hometown too, so like it wasn't even the big city. It's just surprising.
You would like Arkham games. They
It-
didn't. They
it
don't
did look
open
good.
till 4.
It looked good.
But, yeah.
We passed by there. I was
Shoot,
like,
if they're open tomorrow, you guys want to go?
Good. Yeah.
Let's
They don't open till 4, so we can go after.
maybe we can get Chris and everybody involved too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know he wanted to do stuff with us before I was gone.
All right.
They're big into Magic.
Yes.
I
They
have
brought my
Pokemon
cards.
and Arcana.
I brought my cards.
You did bring your
I got
cards?
all my cards.
They do have places set up where you can play. I don't think you have to. I think you just let them in. I've been there enough to where I kind of know the guy,
Yeah.
like or friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. You.
I don't know your name. I wish I knew. I wish I had remembered your
I don't know
name.
if you want.
But you're a cool guy, and your wife is cool.
We need to just like start putting like billboards, QR codes for the podcast in different places around the mall.
Yeah.
Advertise it. Old
Let's
style.
get
baby
a
style.
couple more episodes in.
Yeah.
We're actually we have a whole day's worth of content.
He
How
probably
much?
would.
How many episodes are we up to now? What is this?
This is
for?
25.
It's 25.
This will be
That's pretty good.
25.
Yeah.
So we have a whole day's worth of content. They're all an hour.
I think we'll get somewhere by 100. I think by 100 you're going to have at least 1,000 subscribers.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Start subscribing, folks.
Maybe when things get better for me, I'll start going out there again too. I'm about to break $5,000 on Instagram. So
Here we go. All right. With that note,
Hell yeah.
we're gonna end it there.
Cause I gotta pee.
Yeah. Wade's gotta pee. We're gonna go to Arkham Games and wait until they open and get yelled at by the security again. Thanks for watching. Like, rate, subscribe, ShinoBroz, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Tell
and,
us who you want Mike Tyson to fight and Jake Paul to fight.
or
Separately.
why they gotta fight? Just
What if they
you know,
tag team?
Maybe
What if it's Jake and Tyson?
maybe no more fighting. Maybe just sit and talk, or just
let's have celebrity MMA next.
let's have.
Yeah.
Why can't we all just love each other?
Bring back Celebrity Deathmatch.
Bring back hugging.
And we all know Katie.
No.
We all knew Katie did.
Fight.
Bye.
Bye bye.